Welcome to CoinBook. My name is Calvin Waite, and I'm a professional crypto trader.
So I have had a couple of questions about the hash ribbons indicator. It just flashed a buy signal. This was 22 hours ago from William Okura. And then we had this comment from Jorge. Any comments on the hash ribbon buy signal on the daily for BTC? Seems legit. So for those of you who don't know what the hash ribbon indicator is, it's an indicator that's publicly available. The hash ribbon indicator is a pretty sweet indicator of when to buy, when to sell, and historically it's been extremely accurate. Any of these buys are solid. So these buys here, these are all really great places to enter. And now we've just had a buy signal. So the question is this a good time to buy? The answer is no, and I will tell you why. First of all, if we go in and look at the code of the hash ribbons, I went ahead and looked through all of the code and read the entire thing. And what it's doing is it's taking the 10-day simple moving average and the 20-day simple moving average of the price, and it has a calculation of the buy will be if the short crosses the long, the 10-day and the 20-day cross the long, and if we have a this other calculation which has to do with the recovered and capitulation. The recovered and capitulation are calculations using a 30-day average and a 60-day average of the hash of the Bitcoin hash rate. So what happens is this indicator is feeding off of a security called B-chain hash rate, which isn't publicly available. I actually searched for it and ended up having to write something to take a look at it. This shows you the miners, the Bitcoin hash rate. So it's comparing a 30-day average to a 60-day average. That's where we're getting these green and gray lines. So as the green line increases, that means that more recently miners are turning on their machines. And when miners turn off their machines, the green line goes down. And then 60 is sort of the average of everything. So these are short-term moves of miners. So this entire indicator plays off of whether the miners are turning off their machines or turning on their machines and looking at the swings right there. So that means that the entire logic of this this indicator is based on hash ribbons. Well, we had a problem with the hash rate not long ago. So on October 27th, there was a dip in the hash rate, and this article from CoinMarketCap was trying to explain what happened. And it says that the root cause of Bitcoin's hash rate drop may be attributed to the end of the rainy season in China's province. Sichuan most recently represented 18.5% of Bitcoin's global hash rate. So if these guys turn off their miners, or if something happens, it's going to impact the hash rate. And the hash rate was impacted a little bit, but they were saying that it's going to be even worse. And if you go to blockchain.com, you can actually see that it was much worse. This is when the article came out, and it dropped all the way down to here. So the hash ribbon indicator would work perfectly if the economic incentives of miners was not inhibited by anything else. If this was a purely economic move of the hash rate dropping, that they were worried about price or whatever, and they were truly capitulating, this drop here would be valid. But because it had more to do with this rainy season or the migration of miners being moved, they have just kind of bunch of information here, but it's just saying that they had to turn off their miners for a period of time, and it dropped the hash rates extremely by a lot. So that said, this drop right here was not capitulation. It was miners having to turn off their machines for economic or for political reasons, whatever it was, the rainy season. And while this is off, it makes it look like capitulation. Do you see capitulation here? Would miners have an economic incentive to turn off their machines when the price is doing this? Heck no. They would be mining like crazy. So the incentives don't match. This is a false signal. I would not be buying because of the hash ribbon indicator.